It's time once again for our weekly update from the city of New Hope, and joining us, the mayor, Kathi Hemken. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. Just fine, thanks.
We love the golf course background once again. Makes us think of spring and summer. It's coming pretty quickly here, so we'll get to golf in just a little bit. Let's begin with talk about the City Services Survey. The city on a regular basis, annual basis, has done surveys. Little different format this year. Tell us about that.
Well, we're part of the state performance survey, and to be part of that performance measurement, we have to do a survey every year. Well, every 3 or 4 years, we get a professional survey done by Morris Letterman. We decided that because most of our facilities have been closed due to the pandemic, it didn't make sense to pay a professional survey to do it. So the city, once again, is getting the questions together, and we'll do a city-run survey like we've done for the last couple of years, so that people can go online and answer the survey, or they could get a hard copy and answer it that way. We really want to hear what people have to say. We read every single survey, and we categorize it, and we actually act upon what they're telling us. So it's really important to do that survey, and it's important to have people fill it out.
Mayor, is there an idea on the timing now of when that might come out for residents and when they should be looking for it?
Well, we're not going to see it. The council's not going to see it till April 19th. So it takes a while for them to get it developed. And then after we see it and approve it, the questions, then it'll go out. So I'm looking at probably June sometime.
Very good. All right. We'll keep updating residents about that as it moves along. Let's move to the police department. A few items to update here. Police department body worn cameras, a little change in the process here. Tell us what the city is thinking and what the next steps will be.
Well, first of all, with the body cams, it's more than just buying a camera, popping it on the officer, and they're good to go. There's a lot of storage of the stuff. There's docking stations. There's training for the cameras. There's training for looking at the stuff that they get. We were going to do this in a 2-part series. We're going to do half the cameras for the guys, and then the other half next year. And it just made not only financial sense, but a good sense to do it all at once, so that all of the officers will have cameras all at once. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. So we have to order the cameras, and then they have to do all the computer stuff that goes with them. We're probably looking at, maybe May, June, July, before those cameras get operative on the officers.
Another note from police department, we've got a position that is open. Tell us about that.
We do. It's an administrative specialist position. We have it's help for the chief, and the new chief needs that help. It's always that way with a new person. We haven't had an administrative specialist for quite a while in the police department, a few years. So it's really time to have somebody in there. The chief shouldn't be doing stuff that a secretary or an administrative assistant can do. So we're looking for someone. If you're interested in it, you can always go online and apply, or call the police department and they'll get you an application.
And that website again, newhopemn.gov, to find out information about that position and many other things happening in the city. Another item under police is Tip 411. Give us a little idea of what this is and what residents can be looking forward to.
Well, I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't know anything about it other than the title. Well, it's an anonymous tip line. If you've got a smartphone, you can download the app on your smartphone. It's free. And what they're doing is you're able to go onto that tip 411 and tell the police department about an issue. So if you see a car that's parked in a handicap spot that shouldn't be, if you see some trouble in the parking lot, if you see a pothole, anything that you would like to report anonymously, you can do that. The police officers will be looking at that. Somebody will get back to you via your phone. So there'll be more on CCX once you guys do the interview with them. So we'll have some more information, but I want people to know that it's coming.
Very good. All right. Something new to look forward to. Let's move over to community development. We have a change in the building department, a new name to be talking about. Actually, though, a familiar name of someone that's moved up.
Well, Eric Hansen is one of our inspectors. He has been since 2006. So we had a Dean Bloom. Dean is retiring at the end of February, and he is the building official. And so We like to hire from within when we can, if we have a qualified candidate, and we do in Eric. So Eric will be the new building official, and he'll be trained by Dean for a month or so, and then we'll be looking for someone to replace him in our inspection department.
Congratulations to Eric. Let's move over to another topic that people may have heard a little bit about before. It's called INI, or inflow and infiltration. Educate us a little bit, Mayor. What is this and why is this being talked about right now?
Well, it's kind of complicated. There's two kinds of water. You have storm water that doesn't get treated, and you have sewer water that, of course, does get treated. Well, inflow and infiltration is when people take their sump pumps and hook it onto the sewer line. And then when it goes into that, it has to be treated. Well, this is water that isn't necessarily needs to be treated. So it shouldn't go into the sewer line. And the other thing that happens is some of the pipes have cracks in them. And so that's where the infiltration comes from. And of course, the stormwater goes into that, and that goes into the sewer system. So what we're trying to do is relieve ourselves from some of that, because we pay for that through Hennepin County. And so if we can quit putting stuff into that sewer line that doesn't belong there, we could save some money. So what they're looking at is doing at a point of sale inspection, having sellers scope their sewer lines from their houses to the main, and if there's any infiltration or they're not doing it properly, have them fix that before they sell it. Now, this is still in the works. They're meeting with various other communities that are doing this to see how they did that and what they're doing and how that's working. But look for more information on that as it moves along.
Very good. Let's move to scattered site housing. Update people on a few projects that are in the works. 4215 Louisiana. How is the progress moving ahead there?
They're starting to frame that. That's the one right behind Cook Automotive. So they're starting to frame that. That should be done by the spring. And then at 5353 Pennsylvania or Oregon, that one is going to close probably in early March. So we're kind of excited about that happening. The scattered site housing keeps moving on. They're looking at buying a couple other houses. And as they do that, we'll just keep upgrading our housing stock.
Let's leave you the website once again, newhopemn.gov. You might need it for this next topic as we talk about the business networking group gets together on a regular basis. What is coming up and why should people get involved?
Well, March 3rd is the next meeting. That's at 2 o'clock. And they're all virtual, so you can just go on virtually. Opus Music is hosting it. And when you host it, you get to talk about your business a little bit. We also have somebody coming in from Elevate Hennepin. They're trying to elevate the businesses in Hennepin County, and it's a free service trying to get businesses realigned, reinvigorated, just get them back up and running. There'll be a guy coming in to talk about that and how you can get your business involved in that. And then the next meeting after that is April 3rd. No, April 7th, I'm sorry.
April 7th, it looks
and
like,
that
right?
featured speaker will be, that's at 8:30. That featured speaker will be from the Center for Energy and Environment. Again, a good thing for not only businesses, but for just customers to watch that and get some free information from them.
Very good. And again, more information on the city's website to find out ways to connect to that networking group. Let's hop back to the police department. A few other items to update people on. I understand there's some training going on for some new officers.
Well, we hired 2 new officers. They've got a lot of experience coming in, but of course they need to be able to find their way around the 5 miles of New Hope that we have. So they're in the process of being field trained this week. That'll go on for a week or 2, and then they'll be out there on their own. So looking forward to seeing those 2 new officers for us.
Very good. And you wanted to take a minute to talk a little bit about community relations in the police department. Tell us a little bit about some of the activities that have been happening there.
Well, our new police chief and our community relations officer are trying to do more community engagement. So not only are they going out to people and groups, talking to them about a problem they might have, they're doing other things, like they're delivering Meals on Wheels. They're working with District 281. They're What else are they doing? There's a nonprofit called Inner Hero. They're
Mhm.
working with them just to try to get out in the community more.
Very good. So
I
more
should
information to come about that, and you might see them out at a community group you're involved in. Now let's
let
head
me
to
talk
Public
just a
Works.
little
Oh,
bit about.
go
Well,
right ahead.
before we move on to that, we've got 3 sergeants and a captain that are working on a security plan for City Hall. We're anticipating, but not anticipating, but we're planning for some unrest because of the trial that's going to be happening. So
Mhm.
the captains, the 3 sergeants and the captain are working with the fire department and our other officers to make sure that our civic center is going to be good and safe. So something is happening. If you see something going on, that's what they're doing. They're making plans to keep us safe.
Very good. And if we have more information, we'll pass that along to residents. Now let's head to Public Works. Talk a little bit about this cold weather. What has happened because of it? And how has the city really been ahead of the game here?
Well, when it's cold like this, we have water main breaks, and sometimes the meters freeze and they break. So they're repairing those, and that's the hard work. But the fun work they're doing is trying to keep those outdoor rinks going. So I don't imagine they're putting down much water today, but it'll freeze at night. So the rinks outside are staying open. Of course, the warming houses aren't open, but you're welcome to come to the rink, and they're in really good shape, I understand.
Very good. They'll try to keep them hanging in there as long as possible. Now to street infrastructure improvements. Give us a little idea of the bid process here, and I understand good news for the city.
Well, first of all, when we decide we're going to do, every year we do some streets. So in the beginning of the year, they come and present to us the streets that want to be done. We approve the plans and specs that they go out. The engineers make a bid on those streets that are going to be done. And of course, the residents don't have to pay for that. They do that in their taxes.
Mhm.
Nonprofits, of course, get paid for it. So when we sent out asking for bids, we actually got 11 bids in, and considerably lower than the engineering estimates. We know that there's a lot of groups that are out of work. They're looking for work. So this was a good time to go out for those bids. So we'll
Mhm.
probably be able to do more than we had planned to do because the bids came in so nice and low.
Very good news. All right, let's spend a few minutes in Park and Rec and talk about some of the fun things happening around the city. First is Snowman and snow sculpture. Still opportunity to get out there and be creative, right?
Well, if it ever snows again, and I heard it might again, I don't know when, you can build those snowmen and snow structures and submit until the end of March. So we have this contest, and then
Mhm.
they look at the structures that have been, send your picture in, they look at the structures that have been made. I saw a cute cat, a snow cat, I guess it
All
would be
right.
called, that was really adorable. So what doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a snowman, just some snow structure. Send the picture in and you'll be entered in the contest.
All right. More
So
information on the city's website about that. And the winter activity pack, speaking of winter, there's still opportunity to have some fun with those, and staff is taking a lot of care of those packs as well.
Well, as those packs come back in, we sanitize them and clean them up and get them out to the other family. So you can get a couple pair of cross-country skis, some snowshoes for the kids, some for the parents. We're going to have this winter for a little while longer. So
Yes.
it's really a good thing to get outside, get some activities, and you can get these family packs from the Park and Rec department.
Very nice. As we do look ahead, though, a lot of planning going on in Park and Rec. I take it for end of winter, spring, and even summer activities. How is that process going?
Well, there's something called the In Motion, and they put it together. They put the programs all in there, and then it gets to the proofing people who look at it, and then it gets to printing. So the spring and summer brochure is in the proofing process. So that means spring and summer is coming. So
Yay.
once that gets done, it'll be online, and I believe you can pick it up at City Hall. But
Very
it'll probably be a few weeks before it's available.
okay. And also staff opportunities as we head into summer. You've got some job possibilities for people looking for possibly part-time work. Is that correct?
We're recruiting, we're interviewing, and we're hiring.
Mhm.
Most of it's part-time. Well, all of it's part-time, but we need a lot of those part-time workers at the pool, at the golf course, at the parks. If you're looking for a summer job, if you're in college and you want to do something over the summer, what a great way. You can look behind me at that beautiful golf course.
Yes.
How would you like to spend the summer working on that golf course? So
That sounds good
this
to
is
me.
this is the time to apply.
All right, very good. We are having a little bit of connectivity problem here today, but we'll keep forging ahead. If we freeze up a little bit, viewers, understand that we're doing this via Zoom. Let's talk for a moment about the neighborhood meeting for Corner Park Playground Project. Give us a little background on this project and tell us why these neighborhood meetings are so important.
Well, we have a list of all our parks, and we take the oldest one on the list, and that's the one that comes up for new equipment. So this one hasn't had new equipment for well over 20 years. When they decide that that park's going to, they do some preparations, they look at how much they've got to spend on the park, and then they send letters out to the community so that if you're a neighbor of that park, you can weigh in on the kind of equipment that you'd like to see at that park. So usually they have two meetings. One is an initial one, and they get to see 2 or 3 plans, put their input in. The landscape structures is the company. They'll come back with a couple plans that the neighbors have said they wanted, and then the neighbors actually pick out the plans they want, and all these plans are within the budget. And so that's why we have to do some planning ahead of time, because we do have budgets for this stuff. But the next meeting is going to be this Thursday at 6 o'clock, and it'll be virtual. If you're around Corner Park, that's the one on about 49th and Winnetka, and you're interested in being part of that decision, you can always call the Park and Rec Department, and they'll get you the link in to do it virtually.
Very good. Great opportunity to give some input. Let's talk a little bit about the golf course. We mentioned it a little earlier, and you see in the background of the mayor. What's happening at the golf course now? How are they preparing for the season?
Well, they're getting ready to mail out the league invites. So they send letters out to all the people that were on leagues last year, asking if do you want to play again, and who's your team, and that should be coming out soon. And then after that, they kind of open it up to anybody that wants to play and see if we can fit them into a league that way. So not only doing that, they're of course doing maintenance on their equipment, and they're doing some tree trimming if weather will permit. Well, this kind of weather, I think it will permit just fine. They're constantly trimming or cutting down trees that have either died or are diseased, and they're planting new ones. So they keep real busy over there.
Maybe getting rid of a few of those branches that always catch my golf ball as well wouldn't be a bad thing. So we'll see how that works out. All right, let's talk about the ice arena for a second. A lot of activity happening there. How are things going at the New Hope Ice Arena?
Well, you can always skate. They have open skating on Fridays and Sundays. So you can rent skates. It's $5 to skate for a couple hours. The high schools are playing their games there. We've got a couple high schools that are playing this week. The youth hockey is practicing there, and they've got their district playoffs that are there. They have a little mite game that's coming up. Those are the little guys that are playing. So they keep real busy. And of course, they're doing all the stuff they need to do to keep everybody safe.
Good for them. Yes, lots of activity. One note we want to pass along in the final note about Park and Rec is the Civic Center Performance Center. And so that is something that is coming together. And I understand they're talking about some types of activities that might happen this summer. What can we expect?
Well, this is so exciting. If you remember that theater, that old theater, we didn't use it for anything but the performances. Well, they're going to have performances at the new Performance Center. We don't know what the play is yet, but they are going to have a play there. But the exciting thing is they're doing movies in the park there. They're doing some concerts there. They're doing a family story time there. So we're going to try to use that facility a lot more throughout the summer. One of the reasons that it was so restricted before is because of all the costumes and the props and the things that the off-Broadway musical had to have, and they needed to keep them safe. Well, when we built that Performance Center, we actually built a space that they could lock their stuff up and it wouldn't get damaged, so we could use it for other things. And that's what all these plays and concerts and story times are going to be. So it's really exciting. Again, you can go to Park and Rec and see the list. I don't know if it's actually being published yet, but it will be soon. You see the list and the dates and what they're trying to do. And of course, we always look for groups that would like to sponsor a movie. When we show a movie in the park, we have to pay for that. It's usually a couple $100. And the Lions are very good about supporting that. The Women of Today West Metro is, but of course, we're always looking for new people to support. The more support we get, the more movies we can show.
Perfect lead in. Again, we leave you with the website, newhopemn.gov, to find out about sponsoring those movies and hopefully soon see a list of all of those activities happening at the Performance Center. Final note, Mayor, again, about the kids out there and those masks we're wearing.
Well, those little munchkins are back in school, so please watch for the kids. The kids aren't watching for the cars at all. They mean to, but they're not. They're excited to be back in school. So watch for those buses when they stop and put their signs out, you must stop. Watch for the little kids so you don't run them over. And please, please wear your mask. We've got this just about under control. All we need is just a couple more months and we'll have it. So keep that mask on and get yourself vaccinated if you can.
All right, Mayor, thank you much again for your time here with us today. And we hope to talk to you again next week for more updates from the city of New Hope. Have a great day.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.